Ball. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the aftermath of Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara. You know, Bronco Lara was losing the fight, getting halfway exposed. But he's not like Canelo. He's not like Zorro. He's not like the other Mexicans that got exposed in big fights. Mauricio Bronco Lara is different. He found a way to win, unlike those guys. But you know, with that being said, here on True School Sports, right now, I truly believe the featherweight division is a division that was once an incredibly weak weight class, one of the weakest weight classes in boxing, and now it's like slowly moving in the right direction. It's becoming one of the better weight classes in boxing. You know, right now you got the Mexicans at the top. Rey Vargas holds the WBC strap. Leigh Wood Bronco Lara has Mauricio Lara has the WBA strap, and then Venado Lopez has the IBF belt. And right now the WBO belt, I believe, is vacant, right? So with that being said, you know, Mexico runs featherweight. Mexico runs the featherweight division at this moment in time. All the champions is Mexican, so you gotta start asking the question: who's going to dethrone these guys? And I think that the greater question to ask, right? Because I hate to say it, but it's just the truth. You know, I love boxing. I love fighters from all the countries. I love Mexican fighters. I love the British fighters, but you know, these British fighters can't beat the Mexicans. Like, it just seems like every time, especially these last like 2-3 years, when you get a fight, and it don't matter if it's a big fight, club show fight, you know, mid-level fight, for the most part, I would say like 9.5 times out of 10. You know, it just seems like the Mexican fighters, and it doesn't matter where they fight. It doesn't matter if it's in the UK. It doesn't matter if it's in Texas. It doesn't matter if it's in Vegas. It doesn't matter where it's at. The British fighters have been coming unstuck at a prolific rate against the Mexican fighters, right? And, you know, the UK is a proud boxing nation. They have a lot of history, as does Mexico. But the UK needs to really tighten up. From an American to my brothers across the pond. Y'all got to tighten up, man, because y'all getting shellacked every time you fight a Mexican. So in this weight class, I'm starting to ask a question. Is there a British fighter that could beat a Mexican in this weight class, right? And if there was a British fighter that could dethrone any Mexican champion in boxing, who is that? Like, who is the last hope of British boxing versus the Mexicanos? You know, and I think we may have found him. I think we may have found him because he actually called out the Mexicans. A British fighter called out the Mexican champions on Twitter, and I'm gonna get into all that here in a second. So here's what Nick Ball, the featherweight contender, the hard punching, explosive. Scouser, you know, British, you know, contender who doesn't fight like a traditional British fighter. You know, he had a lot to say about fighting the Mexican fighters. Now, he stated the following, and I quote, "I will show you guys how to stop a Mexican since these clowns can." Clowns being the likes of Leigh Wood and Josh Warrington. I would assume he's referring to, because those are the guys from his country that fight the Mexicans and got exposed, knocked out, beat up, all right, bloodied, okay? Now, I'm going to say this. I like Nick Ball. I've had a chance to watch him fight on a couple of occasions. And the reason I like Nick Ball, and I hope I'm not wrong about him, because before I get into my point, like, I love, like, the problem with British fighters is a lot of them are skilled, but the problem is when shit hits the fan, a lot of the time with British fighters and British trainers, when shit really hits the fan and them questions are asked and you get taken into those deep, dark, uncomfortable places, I think British fighters are a little bit too civilized. They're a little bit too rational. And the thing with boxing is what sounds rational to the normal human being is not how a fighter is supposed to act in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if a fighter gets bloodied up or is in a terrible position, you know, they're very quick. They have a culture in the UK of throwing in towels and stopping fights prematurely. And that's why I feel like a lot of times they get beat when they step up in the big fights, particularly against hard men, hard fighters, hard, aggressive killers. From Mexico, coming from the slums, coming from nothing, coming from places like Mexico City, you know, coming from Guadalajara, coming from Sinaloa, you know, rough, rigorous areas, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like these British fighters, I don't know what they gotta do, but they gotta get some more grit. They gotta get a bit more grit when they fight these Mexican fighters. But Nick Ball, for those who don't know, very, very, very fun fighter to watch. Short fighter, compact fighter, stocky fighter, very explosive. You know, he kind of like, you know, I joked around and I put up a short on my channel. I call him the Scouts Gervonta Davis because in a way, right, I'm not insinuating he's as good as Gervonta Davis. I don't know how good he is yet. None of us know how good he is yet. But Nick Ball is the kind of fighter that if, like, if I had to pick a guy from the UK that could fight a Mexican champion that could win, this would probably be the guy, because of the fact that I just feel like, number one, he's extremely explosive. I feel like to beat a lot of these Mexican fighters in these weight classes, yes, you can box and do good things like Lee Wood, use that range, box, all that good stuff. But at some point in time, there's going to come that moment in the fight where you got to sit there and you got to fight, because they're going to force you to fight. And, you know, when that time comes, will you have the grit, the gumption, and ultimately the fortitude, the mental, and more importantly, the testicular fortitude to grind out those hard moments? A lot of the British fighters haven't been able to do that against the Mexicans. I feel like Nick Ball, we'll see when he gets into a real fight. We'll see what he does. But I mean, his last fight, he fought a 21-3 Mexican, 25-fight veteran in Jesus Ramirez Rubio, who, you know, he had a good record and beat him up pretty badly. And you look at Nick Ball, look at what he's done. I mean, he's on a pretty long knockout streak. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight knockout streak, and he's been beating some good guys. Like, he beat Isaac Lowe on the Fury. I think it was the Tyson Fury. What fight was it? Chisora? Not Chisora. Dillian White undercard. And Isaac Lowe was a good fighter domestically in the UK. Then he fought a hard Mexican in Jesus Ramirez Rubio. So he's fighting some good live bodies. You look at him right now. Nick Ball is ranked number 7 in the WBC. So he probably wouldn't get Bronco Lara. The fight he probably be most likely to get is Rey Vargas, if Rey Vargas continues to hold that strap. I mean, let me see, is he ranked anywhere else? He's not ranked in the IBF either, and he is ranked number 12 in the WBO. So maybe he either gets Rey Vargas fight or he wins a fight or two more, fights for like a vacant title, and can pick up the IBF. But I think or WBO. I feel like Nick Ball will be a guy that I don't know why. I have a good feeling about it. I feel like he will win a world title. I like the ferociousness. I like the way he fights. I like the explosiveness. I think he's got a certain mean streak about him that most British fighters lack in fights, just in general. So that's why I feel like he'll have a chance to go far and be very successful. And he's from Liverpool. People and fighters in Liverpool, just in general, are a little bit more tougher than the rest of the UK. I know personally a couple of Scousers, and they're just like they're cut from a different cloth than the rest of the UK, and that's just facts. So that being said, yeah, that's the news. Nick Ball says that he is the British fighter that will show the world how to knock out a Mexican fighter, since, you know, his countrymen Joshua Warrington and Lee Wood failed in devastating fashion to Mauricio Bronco Lara. So I'm all for it, man. I want to see Nick Ball get his crack at one of these top Mexican champions, because I feel like no matter who it's against, whether it's against Lee Wood or Venado Lopez or anybody like that, I feel like they'll be good fights, because he doesn't have even though he's a British fighter, he's not like you know, pick your shots, be proper type of British fighter. He's more of a he'll bring the grit to the ring, the British grit that sometimes a lot of these British fighters lack. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Nick Ball, he's calling out the Mexicans. He wants to smoke with Bronco Lara. He wants to smoke with Venado Lopez. What do you guys make of his chances? If you've seen him fight, what do you guys make of his chances? And if you haven't seen him fight, go watch him fight and come back here and let me know what you think in the comments down below. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for supporting True School Sports. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.